All right. So this is the presentation for today, and I hope my presentation is visible to everybody. I shall just go on to start my presentation for the day.
Voiceover speaks descriptions of site.
All right. So again, today is an introductory webinar to the unknown people, and we also have a few of our existing customers joining in. So a huge thanks to that. So we just want to let people out there know about Madurai RK Rocks Produce Private Limited, abbreviated as MARP India. Go to shop for all your memorials and monuments need. We deal with granite and all stones. We are into the manufacturing of memorials and monuments for the global market. And I shall just proceed. Hi there. So firstly, a small introduction about me. Sudarshan Ram S, son of Mr. R. Sriram, the late Mr. R. Sriram, our father, was a pioneer in the stone industry here in India. So my uncle and dad set shop 32 years back in 1992. And as I've inherited my brother Sumantram and me have inherited the business from our dad since his passing in 2019. And today, both of us are into the industry full time, and both of us work towards manufacturing good quality monuments. So just to make it a little lighter, I just wanted to give a small introduction about me. So I am a software engineer by profession. I finished my engineering from a reputed engineering college here in India. So I did a lot of computers and information technology. That might sound a little deviant from what I'm doing today, and that's true as well. So after dealing with software, after working in a software company, a software as a service, a SaaS company for close to 2.5, 3 years, I pursued my ambition of becoming a civil servant for the Indian Administrative Services. And then as today, looking back in retrospect, I feel fortunate that I've now joined my family business, Madurai RK Rocks. And I'm now, my brother and me are now taking care of operations here at Madurai RK Rocks. On a lighter note, I love football, the American soccer, and I'm a huge fan of Die Mannschaft, German football team, and I also like a lot of clubs playing in the Barclays Premier League. And to be specific, I love Chelsea. And my other passions include being a beekeeper, some Indian agriculture, as you may all know that India has a very vast arable land. And beekeeping, as Morgan Freeman, one of the Hollywood stars, has said that bees are very important for the survival of mankind as such. I've taken a special interest towards beekeeping and agriculture, and I do that as my pastime and hobby during the weekends and after work hours. I'm also a strong proponent of harnessing the goodness of renewable energy in solving the energy problems of the world. And individually, me, as a family, my mom, my wife, my brother, and as an organization, we are very much inclined towards using renewable sources of energy for production processes. And our factory is not yet 100% green, but we are in the shift towards becoming a 100% green factory. And we use solar to some minute extent. We use wind and all these sources of energy for the manufacturing processes. So we're just shifting to greener sources of energy as well. Adding on to all of these, during my shift from being a software engineer to a manufacturing engineer today, I also developed a special liking towards two countries, specifically Germany and Japan, in terms of what they can do in manufacturing. And I'm also a strong believer in lean manufacturing, total quality management, and Six Sigma. So we adhere to all these principles here in our factory, and we are committed towards manufacturing in a very, very lean setup, in a very efficient way, so that it also helps you, our customers, to get reduced costs. And we are being very meticulous in planning our manufacturing and production system in such a way that our production is of the least cost and the best quality. So we want to be a very value-oriented industry, and we want to provide the best value that we can in terms of granite to all our customers around the globe. So I joined the industry in 2020. It was about October 2020, and now I've been in the granite industry for close to 4.5 years, during the course of which I've learned a lot about the industry. and we've done a lot of surveys. Just got into the slow by slow, and with the guidance of our late father, our mother, today we have now got some proficiency in the industry, and we can say with conviction that we can now manufacture all designs, all shapes, all colors. And we also have a good culture that do good labor culture and workmanship culture to do all of these. So that's my designation right there. I'm the managing director and the chief operations officer of MARP India. And my primary roles include some bit of marketing, but mostly into mine survey operations, and also finding out new customers and providing the best value. So in a certain sense, I take care of production at our factory, and I'm also responsible for the customer success, certain customers of ours. I'm also responsible for the customer success of all our certain customers of ours. And we are now well poised to grow in our market to provide better services as well. So I shall just proceed further to give a detailed explanation. And yeah, so some housekeeping before that. Today's webinar, I'm sorry, I think it's already about 12 minutes into the webinar. I want to keep this as simple and short. I don't want to be wasting any of your time, but I just want to be comprehensive and succinct at the same time. I want to give more than a bird's view into what we do here in MARP India. So today, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the webinar. Today's agenda, we'll start off with what MARP India has stood for, stands for currently, and will stand for in the future. A little bit a short walkthrough into our history as well. Following that, I think this is a no-brainer for any of you. All you audiences seated here today should be a lot more well-versed than me about the stone industry and the granite industry. But still, I'll just look into a small detour into why granite is used as the predominant stone for memorials and monuments. So that will be a very small brief as to the importance of stone, the importance of granite, and the importance of memorials as such. I think with shifting cultures today across the globe, we are seeing a huge shift from in the memorial sizes, in the way memorials are perceived by the next generation, and so on and so forth. I'll just have my 2 cents about how I see the industry and how I see granite for memorials and stuff. The next important thing, perhaps the most important topic to be discussed in today's webinar, would be the black granite story in India. I think the black granite is pretty much an endangered species today here in India, and it's also very unique. I think granite is a very generic term, but black granite, given its homogeneity in color and in its composition, the density of it truly is a very special stone. And the biggest conundrum today in the market is black granite really black granite? Is it truly worth the aesthetic beauty? Is it truly available to all people? Is it in its truest form? So I think pretty much anybody who has been into the industry for at least 3 years should know that the black granite is today becoming a huge discussion in the stone industry. So I shall also get a little deep into the black granite story in India. And our father, so Sumanth and my father, has personally invested a lot of his time, energy, effort, and money into R&D, so research and development and exploring quarries. And I shall also give you a small walkthrough about what we've done with the black granite here in India as well. So after the black granite story in India, we shall next delve into the lean manufacturing prowess that we have, and we also deal with a wide range and array of colors at our factory. I shall also give a brief about the different sizes, shapes, our workmanship, what we have done in the past, and how we envision ourselves in 3 to 5 years from now on all of those. Then again, I think point number 5 in today's agenda is the big thing happening today, the tariff war, the trade war between USA and China. And Mr. President Trump has come back to power after 4 years, and as seen in 2016, he has now gotten a little more protectionist in the right sense, and he's also increased the tariffs on China already, and he's also supposedly intending to raise the tariffs for other countries across the globe as well. But what is sure for today is he has already increased tariffs on China by 10%, and I think he's put on hold the tariff that has been increased on imports from Mexico and Canada. He proposed a 25% hike, but then he has put it on pause. But the China's tariff has been implemented, and a global sort of war is going on between the USA and China in terms of economic dominance, in terms of latest technology in AI and whatnot and what for. And I think this is also one of the niche opportunities that presents itself to us in terms of what we have in offer, how we can give reduced prices to the US market, and how India can be an alternative to China. We should talk about it in detail, but I think that's pretty much been the story of USA. In the 1950s to the 1970s, Japan basically manufactured a predominant number of goods to USA, and it grew itself as well. After having lost in World War II, Japan did get into deep engineering, and they took care of all the consumer needs in the USA between 1950 and 1970. And then after the 1970s, once Japan became a developed economy, I think China, post its Cultural Revolution, it opened up. Deng Xiaoping opened up the Chinese economy, and between 1975 and almost till date, most of the goods coming into USA are being manufactured in China. And now what we are seeing is two shifts. One is the increase in tariffs by President Trump, and two is China entering the middle income trap, wherein owing to its development, today China has become relatively costlier in terms of labor, in terms of production costs and all these. And now I think the entire world is trying to shift its supply, not entirely shift, but at least look for other suppliers beyond China, into Taiwan semiconductors. And I think a lot of manufactured goods, they're looking into countries like us, like India, Bangladesh, and Vietnam. So I think there's a huge opportunity, a win for both the Indian suppliers and the US importers, because of the trade war happening right now. And I think that was also the subject line of the webinar today: 3.7% versus 38.6%. As of today, as of me talking right now, the import tariff for Indian granite monuments is 3.7%, while that of China is, if I'm not wrong, 38.6%. Because the last time I had looked into it, it was 28.6%, and after President Trump has increased 10%, I think it's 38.6%. Lot may be in store. There might be an increase in tariffs from India as well, but as of today, as of me talking on the 18th of February, excuse me, on the 18th of February, there is a huge gap of about 35% in import tariffs. So I'll get a little detail into that, and we should have a discussion on that. Number 6 would be the technology adoption. So we here at MARP India have always emphasized, have always given huge importance to adopting tech and making it easier for all our customers to buy off us. So we have own e, which is in its beta version right now. It should go live anytime soon, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But anyways, I'll show you a small demo today, and I can also give access upon request personally to any of you to just play around our tool, in what way you can use our e-ordering system to buy office. And you can also suggest improvements to us so that we can just work on the back end and also provide you with better services in the system that we have. For today, from now, I think in a time span of about minutes, about MARP. And yeah, excuse me for the odd coughs. It's winter. It's just the transition from winter to summer here in India, and I've unfortunately caught hold of a cough, chronic cough. So I think just pardon me for the odd coughs in that between. So without any further ado, let's get started. MARP India. So we were just talking around various ideas as to what we should be projecting, and we finally came into this. So yeah, MARP India, which is an abbreviation for Madurai RK Rocks Private Limited, was a granite manufacturing industry that was started in the year 1992 by my uncle and dad, after they had finished engineering. So they were, my dad was about 30 years old and my uncle was about 26 years old, and both of them started off with this idea of venturing into granite. Both of them have finished their mechanical engineering and manufacturing engineering respectively, and they wanted to do something with their knowledge, and they started off with the granite manufacturing industry, this being a very capital machinery intensive industry. So we first started off with a very difficult market to crack, the Japanese market. We started off with manufacturing Boshi memorials, which is I think everybody in the audience should know what a Bosch memorial is. It is basically small blocks that are arranged into a big memorial for the Japanese market. And it demanded high quality. It demanded high quality black granite in terms of color. It demanded exact, precise measurements because the grave sites had specific measurements in them intrinsically. So to cater to that high quality demanding market, we set shop in 1992, and since then, despite all the hiccups and ups and downs, we've still been flourishing, and today we are in a very good position. We are well poised to move forward and serve all our customers in the best possible way. So those are a few numbers for you. We are now into our 33rd year of manufacturing memorials and monuments. So we have an expertise of 30 plus years in manufacturing. We set shop in 1992 August. And we started off with a manufacturing unit for monuments. Then we decided to backward integrate into owning the raw material as well. And like I mentioned earlier, we've been very, very quality conscious in terms of the raw materials that we mark and in terms of the raw materials that we source for our factory. And in the process, we sent out on a pursuit to find our own quarry, and we did find our own quarry. And we are also now completing close to 20 years in quarrying. We own 3 quarries here in India, and a significant part of the black blocks that we use come in from our quarry. I shall get into that in detail very soon. On 10 plus years of wholesale distribution, yes. So in 2014, we also did get into wholesale distribution of monuments in the European market, most on the UK market. And now we've completed 10 years. We're stepping into 11th year in wholesale distribution. And approximately over the 30 years of our existence, we have shipped close to 5,000 plus containers. And these containers include everything from 5 centimeter slabs to thick slabs to finished monuments as well. So we must have shipped close to about 3,000 containers of monuments, finished monuments and memorials, and 2,000 containers of slabs and thick slabs. So I think that's quite some number for us to take pride in. And we have an annual capacity of 250 containers at our factory here, existing here in Madurai. In the current situation, we're also investing a lot in machinery and renewable energy to cut costs and also improve our capacity. So we should be having a comfortable capacity of 300 containers a month. 300 containers a year by March. And so that's our production capacity. We've already served and are serving 10 countries every month. So, excuse me. So the monuments being manufactured in our factory reaches about 15 cities globally every month. And these 15 cities are situated in 10 plus across 10 countries and across 4 continents. So I also want to take this moment to thank the patronage of all our existing customers, and we only intend to serve a lot more of you in the best way possible by providing the best value in the days to come. And this webinar is also one such pursuit. Thank you very much. Right. So yeah. So what exactly is our niche proposition? I mean, why MARP India? What is special about MARP India? I think this picture of our quarry and the quality and the tagline says it all. Q to Q. So one of the advantages and the unique specialities that we have is that we are very well integrated in the supply chain. We own our own quarry, black quarry. We have our own manufacturing facility as well. So this gives us the liberty and freedom to produce only the best raw material granite and also make sure that gets converted into the best possible monument. So one of our big advantages and our proposition is that we have a very well integrated supply chain, Q to Q, from quarry to quality. And this is also something that we take immense pride in possessing. On all of these are efforts of our dad, our late dad, Mr. R. Sriram, who personally invested almost his entire lifetime in finding the right blocks, in setting up the right culture in our factory, in setting up the right infrastructure, in setting up a strong foundation. So I also want to take a minute here to really thank my late father and also pay a small homage to him. So again, beyond all the physical assets, the tangible assets that we have as an industry, what we as a family, my mother, my brother, and me consider today to be our biggest asset is our culture, and our workforce. So the culture that we have, it is not a very tangible thing. It is a very intangible meta thing that cannot be measured specifically. But the culture that we've acquired and accumulated over the last 32 years of our existence is very special to us personally. And I also believe that it's our culture and the skills that we've acquired over all these years that actually helps us give great quality. So we believe in three things: in purity, and by purity I mean pure raw materials, good raw materials, defect-free raw materials. We believe in quality, very good quality workmanship, very good quality output in terms of the dimensions, in terms of the polish, in terms of the color, and all of these, and also speed. We have a commitment of shipping out containers in 10 weeks since the order gets filled, and speed is also one very important driving factor here in our factory. And what you can see on your screen right now is an image of all our extended family and our family. And this was taken about 2 years back in one of a very important function, a founders day at our factory. And again, this is being specifically put in to mention the intangible, the biggest asset that we have, the intangible asset culture. So that's something that, again, we take immense pride, satisfaction, and happiness in exhibiting. Right. Yeah. And again, as a principle, we have a huge emphasis to total quality management. So all of these might seem to be a little bit of management jargons, but still we adhere to principles like total quality management, Six Sigma, and a lot of these. And we have a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility, which takes a very balanced approach between mechanization, modernization, and labor workforce. So we do not totally believe in modernizing or mechanizing our entire facility, nor do we totally believe, or what's the better word? Nor are we totally, under mechanized. So we always try to strike the right balance between workforce and mechanization. And you can always visit our website, madurairkrocks.com/index, the link that's shown on your screen right now, to have a better knowledge of what we exactly and how we exactly do things. Right. So that's just a small heads up about MARP India. And now I shall get into the second topic for today: why granite for memorials. I think every one of you seated in the audience will have a better knowledge, and it's needless to discuss, but just as a small digression into why granite for memorials. I think this picture explains it all. So this is basically a rock cut temple here in India, a Kailash temple here in India. And this was built from a single rock, by the way. It was carved out of a rock into a temple. So that talks about the extreme levels of skills that our people here in India had about 1,500 years back. And again, granite, it's immortal in its true sense. Any number of years with just a little bit of maintenance, it looks brand new. And all these temples and all the granite that have been erected here in our nation have stood the test of time, truly and literally. And all of these have been a great show of display of our workmanship and the mineral wealth that we have for the past 2,500 years at least. So granite, in many a way, given its hardness, given its porosity, given its density, is one of the best materials that can stand the test of time. It is also one of the hardest materials, and it's a no-brainer for anyone wanting to have a memorial or a monument to choose granite over any other stone surface. Above all, it is also pretty much like the gold of mainstream stones, in the sense that it is mined from our Mother Earth. It has its own natural beauty to it. It has a great aesthetic finesse to it and whatnot. So that was just one small detour into why granite memorials, and I think you people here in the audience will have a better idea, and also wait for your comments in the comment section to know more about why you prefer granite over other memorials. In our visits across Europe, we found that more than the other stones, I don't want to name them, but granite had functionally and aesthetically a better appeal for monuments and memorials as such. So, getting into the biggest story for the day, the black granite story in India. So, what's the scene here today? I think we have talking about climate change. We're talking about a lot of species getting extinct, a lot of organisms getting endangered and whatnot. And high quality black granite is no different either today. It has become an endangered species. It was not the case 30 years back. 30 years back, when the quarries here in India opened up, we had quite an abundant source of supply of good quality black granite. But over the years, after mining, today, high quality, dense, very less porous, aesthetically beautiful black granite has become an endangered species. I'll just get into that in a little more detail. So basically, we have three pockets of deposits in India that have black granite in them. And I think many of you seated here today in the audience might already be aware of it. In India, we have three pockets of deposits, namely Chamrajnagar in a province called Karnataka, Khammam in a province called Andhra Pradesh, and Kunnam in our province, which is Tamil Nadu. So what has happened today is that all of these three pockets of deposits had abundant sources, and after extensive mining over the past 30 years, the good quality granite, the good quality black granite has almost become endangered. Or we can say with conviction that of the 10 stones that come into the market today for mainstream monumentalization, memorialization, and the house styling and the slab market, about 9 stones are adulterated or treated with epoxy or other additives to give it the actual shine and look of black granite. They are actually a little grayer, they're less denser in terms of composition, they're less denser in terms of how they look in the symmetry. But what's happening here today is all of those are being treated with epoxies and additives to make it look a lot more black. And the minerals coming out of these quarries today are basically the overburdens of yesterday. So we had the high quality black granite as the central deposit, and what we had in the periphery, all the high quality being mined off or not feasible. And the peripheral of the 90s and 2000s has today become the mainstream black granite coming to them. Where we wanted to tell about the doping process. So what happens today is the black granites mined have a very pale, almost bordering between grayish black. So the stones taken from the quarry are brought to the monument factories, and then they are treated with epoxy and left on, so that the epoxy gets absorbed by the stone and becomes. And a day is after the epoxy is being taken up by the granite, it's then polished and then sent out to the globe. So what happens is that this black granite that is treated with epoxies or additives starts letting go of all the colors, because it is not the natural color intrinsic to the stone, but it is rather a doped stone wherein additives are applied to make it look a lot more darker and denser. But once all of these stones, some stones even during transit from India to US or India to Europe or India to the eastern part of the world, Australia, New Zealand, some stones let go of their color and they become patchy gray, and they become very light in color during transit itself. But least of all, what happens is after 6 months from production and delivery, a lot of these stones let go of their color and they become very patchy gray in a lot of areas. So I think memorials that stand as a testament to a person's life and legacy, of all things in the world, it cannot be adulterated. It has to be true. So we do understand that black is a very homogeneous color. Again, one other special thing about black granite is that of all the primary color stones, we do have stones available in red, green, blue, yellow, and all colors. But you can never see a stone that is as homogeneous, evenly patterned, dense, and can also give you a contrast with etching and sandblasting as the black granite. But the scene today, the exact situation today is that, yeah, like I said, 90% of the stones. I wouldn't lie by telling that all stones coming into the market are being doped. But from our assessment, I may be wrong here, but from our sincere assessment, what we found out was that 90% of the stones coming into the global memorial market is being doped or treated with epoxy to make it look black, wherein it is actually bordering between grayish black and black in reality. This is where we come into the picture. So, like I mentioned earlier, our dad, he always believed in research and development and exploration, mineral exploration, and he set out in his own car to find a lot of quarries. And after extensive exploration, we did find a black quarry, which is adjacent to the Kunnam belt in Perambalur. And today, we give the best quality black granite that is directly polished from the natural stone. It is not treated with any epoxy. It is not treated with any additives. It is directly taken from the quarry, sawn with the main cutting in our factory, polished and given out. And even in terms of functional composition, the hardness, which is measured using a metric called HRC, our black granite is a lot more harder than the general black granite coming into the market, and the porosity is also less. So I don't want to be beating our own blowing our own trumpet here, but I just wanted to put this out as a fact and let people here in the audience to have a deeper introspection into the black granite that comes out from India. As you may all know, that the Shanxi black from China has also become extinct virtually today. There is not much resources available of Shanxi black. And the Indian black granite is also fading, literally fading over time. And here we have a strong proposition by owning our own quarry that yields direct polish, dense, high quality black granite. I don't want to be coming across as selling out a concept loud, but I at least think that this is worth an introspection from all people in the industry who that. Yeah, again, adding on to this, again, to be truthful to you guys, adding on to the 3 deposits, we also have a newer deposits opening up in, excuse me, we also have newer deposits opening up in the northern part of our country, to be specific, in places called Raichur, some places of Rajasthan. That is also coming up in recent times. But again, from what we have seen and heard so far, it is not of the same quality as the southern belts. And again, the mining of black granite from the northern part of the country has not become mainstream as yet. So the black Indian granite scene and the black granite scene across the globe, I think truly deserves deep introspection from all people in the industry. And I'll just put forth my points right now, and I'll let it to the audience to introspect further and think about it. All right. So moving on from the black story, I also want to get into our other colors in stock. So we own a very big stockyard, and we stock close to 50 plus colors. So in addition to black, though black is our mainly consumed material, we also have 50 plus other colors in stock, which include materials that are imported from Norway, the Norwegian blue pearl, from South Africa, the South African dark gray or the Rustenburg gray, the Karin gray from Europe, a couple of marbles from Europe, and a Balmoral red from Finland. So we import close to 12 colors from across the globe, and we have 50 plus colors in stock in our stockyard at any instant. And as you can see, these are the colors of few highly consumed minerals in our factory. The Regal gray, which is an alternative to the Chinese G64. The steel gray, which could potentially be an alternative to the South African dark gray. It's cheaper. It is functionally, compositionally, and aesthetically, in my opinion, a better stone than the South African dark gray, but it is again cheaper as we get to source the mineral from our own country. The Karin gray from Europe, as discussed earlier. Then we have the NH gray, which is an alternative to the Chinese G633. Then, as you may all know, the South African dark gray. a nice up and coming color today is the Bahama Blue, and we have two variants of it: the Bahama Blue Dark and the Bahama Blue Light. Blue Pearl from Norway, the Himalayan Blue, and the Indian Aurora. Again, tough, strong materials. So in addition to these, we also have other colors: the MP White, the Kupam Green, the Indian Amber, the Kashmiri White. We have close to 50 colors in our stockyard, ranging in a huge variety of prices, starting from very dear prices to very costly prices. So depending on your need, economically and aesthetically, we also have a proposition in color. So also to make bring in a lot of colors, we try to promote new colors into the market. In fact, my brother recently in one of the surveys found a new color called the Prince Gray, and the Prince Gray is also a very cheap alternative to all the Chinese grays, and we are trying to slowly bring in the Prince Gray into the market as well today. And we are very active in finding new colors and bringing into the market. Yeah, so in addition to the colors that we have in our stockyard, we also give all our monuments in different finishes: the polished finish, the honed finish, the rock pitched, which is one of the most preferred finishes in the US. We also have a leather finish and the flame finish. And we also have a punched finish. We have a coarse grain finish, and a lot more. But these are pretty much the 5 basic finishes in which we manufacture our monuments and memorials. We also own our own Fracrally and Balzan flaming machine that can do large-scale flaming of consistent slabs. Again, this is just one point I wanted to add in. Right. So this is a sneak peek into certain specials that we have done. Yeah, we have done mausoleums and columbariums. This is a very interesting monument to one of our beloved customers from New Zealand. It was a special, and I should really thank our customer for that. And a couple of other works that include very intricate grinding, carving, and setting work. So we can handle different dimensions, different colors, different forms, and different shapes as well. This is just to show you, I'd say, a small display of our capacity and capability. These are some very interesting monument designs and sets that include turning, vast turning, rock pitching, setting up of posts, carvings, angel carvings, and a lot of these. Right. So I think I've just briefed all of you here in the audience about the exact scene here in India. Now getting on to another very important topic, the India versus China, the tariff story. I think it's needless to say, after President Trump has resumed office after his 4 years break, he's already started off by slapping a 10% additional tariff on all imports from China. And Granite is no escape from that either. So we already had a 28.6% import tariff from China, and now it has increased to 38.6% from China, and 3.7% as of now stays from India. So as of how things are taking shape today, we don't see a tariff redemption from China anytime soon. It's only going to keep increasing. And like I mentioned earlier in the day, what Japan was to USA in the 1950s and 60s, what China was to the USA in the 1980s and 90s, I think India is going to be what Taiwan was to the US in the 2000s and 2010s. I think India is going to be in the current decade and the next. So a huge opportunity is about to unleash a win-win situation for we suppliers here in India and importers in the US. The tariff story and how I just had a small working of how the import freight costs would all end up. I'll just want to display that to you people here. Yeah, so that's the India versus China, 3.7% versus 38.6%. That's the import duty percentage slapped on goods of import goods. For convenience sake, I shall take the cost of goods to be $10,000. And as you can see, the import duty for US from India is 3.7%, while the same import duty for imported goods from China is 38.6%. Correct me here if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was 28.6%, and on the 10% addition by Trump, about a month back. I assumed it's 38.6% today. And I also did have a word of confirmation from one of our suppliers, and that's how things stand today. So in terms of for a $10,000 worth of container, the import duty in absolute numbers would be $370 if a wholesaler in US were to import goods from India, while the same import duty would be about $3,860 if you had to import it from China. The cost of freight, as of how things stand today, India is a little more costlier than China. The cost of freight to bring in goods to the US, it's about $1,800 for one of our shipments that shipped out last week, and I assume that, and from what we heard, it is $1,500 for shipping goods from China. So, in all, in net to net, if we were to take the same value of goods, the total cost incurred by a US wholesaler today would be about $12,170. A $10,000 worth container would be $12,170 if we were to import it from India, while the same container would cost $15,360 from China. So that's the difference we're talking about, which is about 26% in terms of relative percentages and an absolute difference of 3,190. So here, as of how things stand today, importing from India stands as a clear winner. We have a huge opportunity there in terms of pricing and in terms of quality. India and also our factory is today adopting into the cremation emerging market as well. We're also starting to manufacture special columbariums, mausoleums, and special carving work today. So as far as the arithmetic is concerned, as of how things stand today, I think it's a no-brainer that India clearly has the edge in terms of costs than China. And it is also, given the high geopolitical tensions between the two biggest nations in the world, I think it is a very nice option to consider India in a very big way. And we here at MARP India are open to all sorts of discussions, and we can also take this forward. If you can send a mail to my ID or our ID, which is sudarshanram@madurai.rkrocks.com, or pricing@madurai.rkrocks.com, or sumant@madurai.rkrocks.com. So any of these IDs, we can take up a discussion and see where we can actually end up. Yes, so all these we also, that's the India versus China. I just want to put out the arithmetic out there for you guys to have a look into. And we've been actively involved in investing in tech to ease the process of all our customers ordering from us as well. So we are also in the process of developing an e-ordering system for all our clients, which pretty much works like an Amazon for monuments. So if any one of you want to buy Monuments Office, all you have to do is just log in using your ID password into our portal and drag and drop, choose monuments you want, choose the dimensions, enter customized shapes, sizes, color, and then go about placing an order, and it will automatically reflect in our backend system, and we should proceed to manufacture the monument. So we have done this in an effort to ease the entire ordering flow and also provide a seamless experience for all our customers to order and buy Memorials Office. I'll just take 1 minute's time from yours to show a random walkthrough to our e-ordering system. So I hope my screen is now visible with our portal. So this is our e-ordering system, which is in its beta version. It's yet to be released, but shall be available to the open market in 3 months from now. But we can give access upon request to special needs as well. So yeah, all of these would be the different standard designs and shapes that we have. We can just go ahead and choose from the various designs. We will have all the standard sizes and the colors already listed for you. But in case you want a customized color or a customized dimension, you can just feel free to choose from our array of colors and also enter in the dimension of the entire and other specifications like the holes, double holes, container holes. If you want text to be added, you also have an option for all the finishes: honed, leathered, flamed, pitched, and polished, like I mentioned earlier. And you will have the new price reflecting in here. This is just a placeholder text for the time being, but you will have the amount coming out in here. You can just proceed to place an order, and it will automatically reflect in your orders list. And at the back end, this will arrive in our portal as well, and we'll be able to process the order from there moving forward. So this is still in its beta version. We are in the process of, almost at the end of developing this site. So the price here is the 106.7. So that will be the actual price of the. So we are in the final stages of developing this portal of ours, and should be live in another 3 months time from now. So we have our own easy to use e-ordering system. And for any further queries, we have our own pricing methodology. So we have a base price per CBM, and then we had a workmanship cost and color costs to it as well. So any queries of any sort, please do feel free to write to us at sudarshanram@madurai-rkrocks.com or pricing@madurai-rkrocks.com. Or there's I just missed out on my brother's email ID. It is sumant@madurai-rkrocks.com. Either one of us, either Sudarshan, me, Sumant, my brother, or Sarah, who's our customer success executive here at Madurai Rocks, will get back to you at the earliest. And I really hope that this will set the path for fruitful and useful discussions in the days to come. So with this, I pretty much come to the end of my presentation today. I just wanted to give a surface level introduction into who we are, what we have in store to offer, and how exactly the situation is in the Indian granite scene. I really hope you really found this to be useful. I really hope I didn't waste any of your time. And I shall now open up the session for Q&A, for question and answer. Please do feel free to shoot questions of any sort to me, and I shall be available for the next 15 minutes to answer all of your questions. And yeah, anytime, also please do feel free to write a mail to sudarshanram@madurai-rkrocks.com or pricing@madurai-rkrocks.com or sumant@madurai-rkrocks.com. And one of us will respond back to you at the earliest and give clarifications of all sort. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for patient listening to me all throughout this session, and all I feel is very grateful and humbled by your presence today. Thank you very much. Please do have a good day and a good week ahead. I shall now be available in the chat box for Q&A. Thank you very much. All right, we do have a few questions coming in. I shall respond to them in private. I do have all email IDs. And I shall also be present at the MBNA fair happening in Cleveland, Ohio next month between the 13th and 16th of March. I'm also very excited to see you all there. For any, So we also have plans of running this webinar once every week. So in case you have any of your friends wanting to join in, we'd also be happy to get them in as well. I should be available. I shall now hide the video, and I should be available in the chat box for answering all your questions. I'm sorry, I just missed a few of open to all. I should take up all the questions in person and respond back to you either through mail or chat in person. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in today. Have a very nice day and a good week. Thank you.